Hello my fabulous Scarlet and everyone else watching. Today I'm gonna talk about something that's as Austrian as Schnitzel and Schwarzenegger. And that's the AUG. But in Austria we call it just the AUG. So please forgive me if I'm gonna say AUG sometimes in between instead of AUG, because that's how I was raised. AUG stands for Armee Universalgewehr. That's probably roughly translated as Army Universal Rifle. Sounds rather cool, right? Like a movie we all know. That's not especially a good movie, but we know the movie we're talking about. And it was made in the 70s. And that's why I'll say it's the perfect rifle if you were a soldier in the 70s. So, mentioning the 70s, that's why in the Austrian army it's called the STG 77. That's the Sturmgewehr 77, because it was accepted as the new assault rifle in the 77 year. No? Makes sense, right? The pre-successor of this one was the STG 58, which was basically a Steyr-made FN FAL. Now let's talk about what we're really here to see. The AUG in the STG 77 config. I say it because it's the best weapon for a soldier in the 70s because it's an all-in-one package. It was made for people who haven't had a gun before. So that's pretty much many people in Austria, because we're a big nation of hunters, but we're not a big nation of recreational shooters. Let me get you through the basics. One of my favorite parts. The rifle has an integrated optic. Keep in mind, this rifle was designed in the 70s and it already came fixed with an optic. It's a 1.5 scope. Interesting, you say, because it's a 1.5 scope. Everyone in the 70s was using 4x scope. But Steyr was clever enough to say that probably some people need to use this at closer distances. So they gave it a 1.5 scope. It has a ring in the middle of it. A ring, you think? Yeah. The ring that's now popular with EOTech and other companies doing a ring in the middle to take aim at the target. It also has an integrated iron sight for backup and, watch it, it's an integrated carry handle. And you know who loves carry handle? Me loves carry handles. What's also very interesting about it, there is no way that a simple private in the army could turn any knobs. You may ask, but why? Somebody needs to adjust the sights. Well, that was done by the authorities, the guy who takes the rifles out and checks them. Usually you're using these knobs to adjust windage and elevation, so with a special tool, the guys who are allowed to do so adjusted it, gave it to recruit. Recruit did some shots, said, yes, it hits where I want it to hit, and that's fine. If it doesn't hit where it wants to hit, your superior takes the rifle, makes a few shots, says, it's fine, soldier, and gives you back to it. No need to adjust anything there. You may also note the lack of any elements to control this gun. Why, you may ask? And if you didn't ask, I will answer it anyway. So, the only thing that's visible here is the safety. It's just a push button safety for safe and fire. There is no fire selector. And the reason for this is that this trigger actually controls semi and full auto at once. If you just pull it slightly, it will shoot single auto, and if you pull through, it will shoot full auto. You could say that's the Glock before there was a Glock. Not because of the full auto, but because of the lack of controlling elements. So, there is no bolt release. But as you have already seen, there is a bolt catch. There is just no release there, because this way the recruit who never hold a gun before has nothing that he can worry about. What does this button do? What does this button do? The problem is, as you can see, you can't release it like that, so I have to take the mag out and release it that way. Of course, if you would put in a full magazine, it would you allow to go forward. Also, the stock. The stock is completely made out of plastic. And again, it's the 70s. This in that time was innovation. It was great, it was superior, it was sci-fi, and it still holds up very good. People who are telling you the AUG stock will melt in sun and all that ghost stories, ignore it. Just ignore it. Also, we're in the 70s and we have a vertical grip integrated. That's not just here to be vertical. You can also fold it up. So it would be easier to shoot from a prone position or put it on a sandbag or stuff like that. And the features keep coming. If you pull back the bolt lever, you can just remove the barrel like that. Let me show you again, it even works with one hand. Push the lever down, turn it, and you can remove the barrel. Super easy for cleaning. And if I talk super easy for cleaning, keep it going by a single button to just remove the complete upper receiver. And that's it. It comes out like that. That's all you have to do to disassemble it. No tools required. You can even use this button here, pull out the lever, remove, and you got your trigger unit. All like that. Try to do that with an AR-15, guys. And reassembling would be just as easy if I wouldn't be a total loser it. And there you go. We put it back again. And that's it. Now for the finer details about it. This is an original STG-77 magazine. As you can see, it's semi-transparent with a bullet indicator on the side. So the recruits and privates will always know how much ammo they have left. Keeping on with the fine stuff. It has a selective gas pressure unit, simply called the gas plug, which you can put to overdrive. So if the gun is dirty, it will still be able to fire. Or it has a selection for shooting rifle grenades. The rifle grenade would be attached to that here. Check, put it in. Boom! Rifle grenade shoots out. If you're using blanks, don't lose live fire rounds when shooting a rifle grenade. That would be a middle disaster. So what else can I say? For you guys who like slings. Sling point in the middle. Why in the middle? Because you could use it to the left or right hand. If you are left or right hand shooter and you've already seen the other sling point here, you can just remove it and put it in on the other side if you wish. This stock doesn't have the opening to reverse the ejection for left-handed shooters, but other stocks usually have it. This one doesn't. Sorry about that. So, let's sum this up. It's the year 1977. They give people this firearm, which has a further round transparent mag, an integrated scope, backup iron sights, no unnecessary adjustment tools or things to turn or put around or press any button that shouldn't be pressed, so this thing will just work. Vertical grip. Vertical grip is foldable. Adjustable gas valve. What else could you want? And that's why the STG-77 or Steyr AUG is the perfect soldier rifle if you were in the 70s, maybe in the 80s too, maybe even in the 90s in certain countries. You're probably wondering why I keep mentioning the 70s stuff. That's because this thing is not free of faults. By today's standards, this is super outdated in several ways. And that's why Steyr made the AUG A3, which I already upgraded to keep it more in line of what a modern AUG would look like, because this pretty much eliminates all the problems the classic STG77 has. Let me guide you through it. First of all, this one has a bolt release. There you go. Back then, recruits and privates didn't need it, but nowadays people want this. Magazines have been unchanged. The trigger is still a two-way trigger, so that hasn't changed either. But you're probably wondering, what have I done here? Okay, the standard AUG A3 has already long rail. It goes about from here to here, but I attached a Corpus Defensio rail to have a longer rail, because you have a way longer radius for iron sights. Yep, looks good to me. And of course, the longer rail will allow you to attach various modern optics, because the older optic mentioned as 1.5. You know why it also was 1.5? Because it was super slim. Just look at it again. Do you see it now, how slim it is? This makes it not that good for night shooting and for low light situations, because the light emission isn't that great. So, longer rail allows you to attach modern sights like this MAC combo system with a magnifier. And the next thing, this one is also a post upgrade I installed, because I think a bullpup rifle in this age, I think it's 2020 if I remember correct, should have a handguard. You may ask, why handguard? The old rifle had a vertical grip already, so you don't need a handguard. Au contraire, I don't speak French. I think that means something like, wait a minute. So, this handguard has an extended rail, which allows you to put a vertical grip way more back. Reason for this is that people with short hands had problems with the original AUG grip being about there, while they can put it more back. Just let me give you a quick side-by-side comparison. There you go. Also, this handguard has a shield integrated. You may be wondering, why would a handguard need a shield? Thing is, the gas valve I mentioned. The gas valve bleeds out hot gases. That's how it works. If you hold it like it's supposed to be for a private in the 70s, you're safe. But if you're trying to hold it with a more modern grip style, like with the thumb up, the hot gases will burn you. Even if you're trying to shoot it like that, see where my finger is, exactly at the gas valve, it will burn you. So that's not a good thing, unless you like being burned, which I guess some people may be into burning, I'm not. Shield here prevents you from being burned. Also, muzzle device. The original Steyr AUG A3 has a NATO compatible muzzle device, which I replaced because I am an ASA Ultra guy and prefer quick attachable suppressors. So, one other thing that a better Steyr AUG should have. This one. The bolt release I installed here from Corpus Defensio is adjustable in the way it goes to the side, goes up, so it has an adjustable angle. You may ask, why is it needed? It looks stupid, I don't care if you think it looks stupid, it works great. Because if you're using a scope that's maybe a bit more mounted to the low, or if you're using a red dot that's a bit wider than this one, your knuckles may be endangered to come too close. if you are still having the original AUG bolt handle. Even with the original bolt handle, if you pull it back, you're coming rather close to the scope. You won't touch it because this scope is rather slim, but if you would use it with a rail and any other scope, there's a high chance that your hand will get hurt. So, that's it for today. There are still a few upgrades that make the AUG even better, but that, my friends, is a story for another time.